All right, time to get to work again, I guess, if I gotta. Um, May 6th, 2026. It's a Monday, a work day, but and every day's a work day. Yeah, my old joke from when I was doing computer consulting in the early 90s. I used to say, what did I used to say? A holiday is a day without pay, and vacation spelled FLU. And so it used to be. I don't think I've had flu in years. I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, D apps. I've been digging the rabbit hole deeper, and grappling with what is a database server in Web3, and not wanting to have to re-implement SQL Server if we don't have to. Uh, so how is databasing done nowadays, cloud native? Well, I think we need to break the paradigms. It's time to leave the 20th century paradigms behind and be willing to embrace 21st century paradigms. And so I'm saying, well, what is the data needed for in a typical application system? Um, and you rapidly get to like globally thinking, which uh, endangers you getting centralized too much. So we're not talking that anymore. We're talking microservices, we're talking API first, we're talking cloud native, and we're talking headless applications. So if you get in a more of a black box sort of thing and think, well, let's zoom out and think in terms of all we really care of is for the input given, we get the output desired. Excuse me, my throat's giving me trouble today. I would not be at all surprised if I end up dying of throat cancer, but that's another story. That's another vector. So, I've done over the last week, I've done an awful lot of work on, I'll call it the front end of our D apps. And now we're really drilling down to, well, what does it really mean? How do you implement with the D app? And I haven't even got to my latest epiphany, which is maybe we don't need a database server in Web3. What's being called Web3. I'm beginning to think, well, really, if this technology is used, where is the web and why? It's definitely cyberspace. This is 21st century cyberspace we're talking about. Um, so no, you might not have a, let's stipulate if you don't have a database server, where does data fit? Well, in object-oriented programming paradigm and thinking in terms of microservices being implemented as these agents and the concept of zero knowledge, well, the data is stored in the agents. Oh, so we start rapidly getting back into group, swarm, um, cloud, various terms can be used. And we want to be ontology driven. So what we end up with is I'm stumbling upon how I could implement my knowledge server without using the legacy technology. So a use case that I've been intending to use for my early prototypes and such, get things up and running, is the tic-tac-toe game. So we have an NFT. It's a key to our tic-tac-toe game. And when you fire up the NFT, whatever that's involved, and get a presentation layer, then you're able to play tic-tac-toe. Um, or that is to say, it's a two-player game. We could have both sides being played by the AI, or have one human, one AI, or have one human and one kind of dumb, um, or two humans. Yeah, all of that. But you don't need to get all that done with version 0.01. So you fire up the NFT, it connects to an agent, which is basically the liaison agent to the cloud, to the swarm, to the group of agents that embody this tic tac toe game. So they're the processing and the data storage. And that's what object oriented programming does. Now, that's not to say that a particular agent isn't still using IPFS for its persistent storage and its data basing uses, its data manipulation uses. Um, just we don't need to think of them like that. We can think of them as an agent, as an entity, a little nano entity, micro entity, microservices, nano services, whatever. Um, so that is what people think is our app, and they don't got a clue what's behind it. Um, Now, behind it, so we have this group of agents that are can embody, way to put it, embody this instance of the game, of the tic tac toe game. We assume some human, doesn't have to be, though, always keep in mind, doesn't have to be human as we move forward, but for 10 years or so, it'll mostly be humans. And they want to play tic tac toe. And so there's the agent that takes the input and translates it for the innards. See, the thing is, okay, in my use case so far, I've been thinking in terms of, so you got, I'm this human player here. I'm playing tic-tac-toe on in the Web3 environment, and uh, the query is, which player's turn is it? Okay, well, now that agent is hard. Yeah, I'd better cough. Hard coded um, to understand that. We don't have to do a natural language, English language. AI doesn't have to do everything. So we have that hard coded. I mean, we parse it out and say, oh, okay, this is what they inputted. And so then the agent makes that into some kind of metacode that can be used internally. Because we don't need to be writing and parsing the English language constantly throughout all the pieces of the system. That's too kludgy. Um, so every agent kind of knows itself and knows things, and it's could be very powerful for a knowledge server because I may have broken the sentient stack. We may have jumped past data and information right into knowledge. And all we care is that we get knowledge back out. In this particular case, which player's turn is it? Right? And I'd better bounce this.